Hello guys, this is your friend M and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto was heartbroken and Ino falls in love with him and comforts him, part 1 Naruto X. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Sometimes I wonder why or when did I fall in love, but like every time I ask myself those questions, I still can't answer them. Maybe I know the when I started to notice it, but not when it started. Perhaps it started the first time I saw him return after his trip with Jiraiya, pervert, or maybe when he came to back us up and eventually end up killing one of those Akatsuki morons that killed our sensei, or maybe it was the first time I saw him, the real him, and not the stupid self he always shows others. I mean, he can be loud and oblivious and incredibly annoying when he wants to, but he can also be kind and loyal to his friends, and he's always there for you when you need someone to talk to or just be there so you won't feel alone. He's smart, but not Shikamaru smart, it's just that he doesn't show it. Deception is the key to a ninja and the best tool at his disposal after all. I'm pretty sure you all can figure out who he is by now, but I can't say it to anyone cause, who would believe that I, Yamanaka Ino, is madly, completely and hopelessly in love with the one and only unpredictable knuckle-headed blonde Konoha has ever produced. Yes, you've heard it right, I'm in love with Uzumaki Naruto. But here I am, in my family's flower shop, daydreaming about my blonde-haired crush, when the front door of the shop opens to reveal none other than my friend rival, even though she's not my rival for the traders, Sasuke feelings anymore, rather for her other teammate. The blonde with wild untamable hair, eyes so blue that reminds you of the calm ocean, those pure and bright orb that just makes you want to drown under his gaze. Oh how I wish he would just looked at me the same way he looks at her. Hey pig, what are you doing Saturday night? Asked my pink-haired friend rival. I don't know, stay home. Why? I answer to her, raising a shapely blonde eyebrow. Cause Kiba's having a party and all of us are coming, she said with a smile. I know for a fact that Sasuke-kun would be there. As she said the trader's name her smile grew wider. Like I care? I thought, oh really? Then I'm going for sure. Forehead. If Sasuke is going obviously Naruto's going to be there as well. I thought with a smile. Sakura, obviously misinterpreting my smile, went on a fit and rambled for a while on how Sasuke was hers and she would never be with him, which suited me just fine and I couldn't care less what that traitor thought of me anyways. All I could think about was what was I going to wear so Naruto would notice me instead of forehead. Hey pig, wake up, I'm talking to you, she screamed at me. Sorry forehead, I was just imagining the look of Sasuke-kun when he sees me at the party, I said smugly just to tease her. Yeah right, she snorted, like he's ever going to notice anything but you're fat. She snapped at me with a victory smile that I would have gladly whipped away from her face, but on the inside I was dancing and jumping up and down that she didn't care about Naruto, that would leave me a clear path to his heart, even if I still have another bitch to compete with. Fortunately for me, she's too shy to say anything to him, so I would easily win over her. At least some guys love a big butt, but you can't say the same about that huge forehead of yours. Point, set and match forehead, INO 104, Sakura 72 feet. I thought with a huge smile. Sakura just walked away and said, yeah, whatever, keep telling yourself that if it makes you feel better pig. Anyway, the party starts at 9, don't be late, and then she left the shop. Okay, so maybe I overdid it a bit with that comeback, but hey. I don't have a fat damn it. Tonight was our weekly dinner with my team. We'll go every Monday to the barbecue place we used to go with Asuma sensei. It's been 4 years since Akatsuki was defeated and Sasuke returned to Konoha. Everyone was shocked when we saw all of Team 7 returning to the village. Sai was in the front right, Yamato on the left. In the middle was a chained Sasuke. Sakura and Kakashi were on the rear. And Naruto was on Kakashi's back. As the Hokage saw this, she ran quickly to Kakashi's side to know Naruto's state and what the hell had happened. Kakashi said that Naruto was unconscious from chakra exhaustion and his life wasn't in any danger. All the rest Team 7 looked bad, scarred and exhausted. After a few days of rest Naruto was 100% again. He never talked about the day he fought Sasuke nor the Akatsuki. If anyone asked him he would change the subject or simple walked away and ignore you, or shunshin away. Even Sakura wouldn't talk about it. We heard from Sai that when he and Yamato found them, Sakura was healing Sasuke and Kakashi was trying to give Naruto some chakra. After that they'd traveled back to Konoha. Neither had seen the actual battle between them. After a year of good behavior Sasuke swore loyalty to Konoha again and was re-established as a shinobi. Sakura is still a chunin and now taught medicine and basic first aid at the academy and works part-time at the hospital. Naruto is a jonin and Sasuke is taking this year's chunin exams after his 3-year probation as a ninja. Neji, Tenten and Kiba are Anbus now. Lee's a jonin sensei and is following Guy's teaching with his own genin squad. Choji and Shikamaru are part of the staff in the Hokage Tower. Hinata and Shino are soon to be clan heads. And I'm a jonin trying to get to Anbu. So here I am, waiting for the lazy Nara and the black hole Akamichi to arrive so I can stop my thoughts when I saw him. Here I was walking down the street towards my favorite place in Konoha. Ichiraku's ramen, or as I like to call it, heaven on earth, for a well-deserved bowl of ramen after a crappy day of the usual glares and hate from the villagers. Even though I brought back their precious Sharingan user, they still hate me. First, my morning shower was cold. Again, the power in my house went off before my healthy and precious cup of ramen was done in the microwave. I got out and tried, keyword tried, to buy a loaf of bread. Or some dango, or something for breakfast without luck, then went training, missed lunch, got a crappy mission accompanying Lee's team on AC rank, caused Lee call in sick, got back around 7, got in the shower but this time, it was boiling hot, lucky me, got dressed and walked out, avoided many streets and glares as I could, and as I was walking I saw something that froze my heart to the very core. There was Sasuke, dressed in black pants and a white high-collar shirt with a rose in his hand standing in front of Sakura's apartment. My world stopped as I saw the look on her face when she opened the door. She had a light blue knee-high summer dress and a black jacket in her hands. She looked beautiful with her shoulder-length pink hair done in little curls on the end. Her cheeks were flushed a nice shade of pink that glowed in contrast to her pale skin, and her eyes, I couldn't even look at them. I had to get away from that scene that was now engraved on my mind. I run from there as fast as I could. Seriously, could my day got any worse? And of course it can. The gods must hate me too, or they have a fucking good laugh at my expense, cause as I walked through the street I thought led to Ichiraku's I run into the one person that could make my life more miserable than already was. One Yamanaka Ino. Hey Naruto, how are you? She said smiling at me, which she had been doing a lot recently. It disturbed me greatly. I'm fine, I lied, and she noticed. Damned Yamanakas and their interrogation skills. Are you sure? She sounded concerned, but I know she doesn't care. Yeah, why would you care? I said to her, annoyed. I really wanted this day to end fast. What do you mean I don't care? Of course I care, we're friends, right? She said, almost yelling at me, but that was just her usual tone for me. Yeah, whatever, look, I'm okay, alright, I just want to eat, walk back home and be alone, okay? See ya, I said as I walked away without even looking at her. After my run with Naruto, all I could think about was what had happened to him. Why was he in such a bad mood? It's like they had told him it was the last day they would serve ramen in Konoha. His eyes were dull, there was no light, no life in them. Even if he tried to fool me, I know something bad and mere happened. After my dinner with Shikamaru and Choji ended, I walked back home thinking about the blonde of my dreams. As I was walking through the park near my building, I saw Sasuke and Sakura walking and talking. I didn't find it odd, considering they did that a lot lately, but what I noticed now was that they were holding hands, and then it hit me. That was why she knew Sasuke was going to the party. and why she had that victorious smile earlier. They were dating. Oh God, was that why Naruto was so down? Had he seen them together? And it clicked now, all of it, why he needed to be alone, his cold eyes, his heart was broken. I turned and changed my direction. He was going to need someone right now, or else he might do something stupid. As I finished my 7th bowl of ramen, one couldn't take my mind of those two. All I could think about was them. Fuck, I needed a drink now. Not that my problems will be solved after drowning myself in alcohol, I knew better. It hadn't worked for Tsunade or Jiraiya, but I just needed to forget, just for tonight. As I was walking back to my apartment, I passed a liquor store and bought 3 bottles of sake. That was all I could afford with the money I had on me right now. Thankfully the owner didn't know anything about the Kyuubi, which was good for me. I arrived at my apartment and turned the radio on. I didn't care what kind of music was playing now, only that it helped to numb my thoughts. I opened the first bottle, poured it in a cup and drank it fast. My throat burned, and my eyes shut as I felt how the alcohol went down my body, warming it. I kept pouring the sake until I heard a knock on my door. I got up as best as I could and shouted aloud, "Coming," so whoever was at the door could hear it over the loud music. My legs felt like jello, and my body was numb. I tripped with my own feet and fell on the floor. My body was telling me to just lay there, but the knock told me to get up and answer it. Even if I preferred my first choice, I got up again and walked to the front. I opened it, and to my surprise the one at my door was none other than Yamanaka Ino. "Hey, I'm sorry for yelling at you today, but you looked so down that I wanted to make sure you were okay. Can I come in?" I said as soon as he opened the door. He was wearing a black t-shirt and black pants, his hair wilder than I've ever seen it. This was cause he wasn't wearing his hitai around his forehead to keep it out of the way. And he was also slightly balancing on the door, a clear evidence that he was drinking. Sure Ino, come in," he said, and I could smell the sake on his breath. Now my suspicions had been correct. How did I knew he had seen them? Easy, he never got drunk alone. Yes, he drinks alcohol once in a while, but always when we were partying or in a special occasion, never in the middle of the week. This was bad. As I walked in, I noticed how small his apartment was. It had a bedroom and living room all in one, a kitchen and a bathroom. Near the bed was a dresser with 5 pictures on top of it. One of Team 7 in their Genin days. The standard picture all new teams do when they're formed. She still had hers of Team 10. One with the Sandame with a 5-year-old Naruto sitting on his shoulders, the Hokage hat in his tinny hands. The third had a small amused smile on his face, while Naruto sported his now famous foxy grin. One of the rookie 9+ guys team without Sasuke when Naruto returned from his 2.5-year training trip. One of Naruto and Jiraiya in a festival somewhere. And the last one was when he'd made Jonin. He was in the middle between Tsunade and Shizune at Ichiraku's with a Yame and Tuki in the back. Naruto again smiling his foxy grin, proudly wearing his new vest. In the corner of the room was a table with 2 chairs and 3 bottles of sake, one empty and the others were still closed. There was cloths on the floor in the bed, and a towel drying on one of the chairs. "Sorry for the mess, I wasn't expecting anyone," he said as he turned down the music and started collecting the cloths and drying towel, shoving them inside a basket in the bathroom. "It's okay," I said. Do you want to sit down and have a drink, or do you prefer to standing there at the door all night?" he said to me as he walked back to his chair. "Pour it Uzumaki," I said as I walked to the other chair and sat down. He served both our cups and said, "Bottoms up, drinking it all." He closed his eyes and gave a sigh after he finished. I just drank a sip. "So, how are you?" I asked him. "Almost drunk," he responded. "I can see that," I said almost in a whisper, "but I meant how do you feel? What made you drink like this? 'Cause I know you never get drunk, not even at the parties we go." He poured himself another cup, drank it all and then said, "Today was just a crappy day." "How so? What happened?" I said and drank a little more. He looked at me. He looked a little uncomfortable, so I said, "Come on, you can tell me. it will help you let it out. I won't tell anyone, I promise, and I smiled at him. He sighed. As I said, it was a crappy day, my morning shower was cold, I couldn't eat breakfast cause my electricity went off, I couldn't buy it either. Then I had to cover for Lee with his Genin team cause he was sick they're as youthful as him. He shrugged at this, then got home and took another shower, only this one was boiling hot. Went to Ichiraku's and on my way there I saw Sasuke outside Sakura's apartment with a rose in his hands. He poured another cup. I knew they were close, but I still thought I had a chance with her. What a stupid idea, nay. And he drank half of his cup. So, they're really dating, huh? I said and drank what was left of my cup. Yeah, he said as he looked at his half-empty cup. Silence filled the room as Black of Pearl Jam started playing on the radio. The silence lasted for 3 more songs as I tried to say something but didn't have the courage to say it. I've never felt like I couldn't say what was on my mind, so I took my cup, poured another shot and drank it all at once, trying to find the courage I needed to say what I was thinking on the sake. You know, you're a great guy, I'm sure you'll find someone who loves you, like me, I thought, come on. You're independent, a great shinobi, the possible next Hokage, a Jonin, you're barely 20 and you're hot, girls would be all over you, if they already aren't. He looked at me with wide glassy eyes and his mouth slightly agape. What, did I say something you're not? I asked as I looked straight into his dark azure eyes. You think I'm hot? He asked as a little pinkish hue spread on his whiskered cheeks. Fuck, stupid, Ino. Just great. I kicked myself for saying that out loud. Sure, I think you're attractive, you're handsome, tall, and I'm pretty sure underneath that cloth is a very well-built body. I mean, it had to be cause you train like, a lot, right? And girls like that in a guy. I was rambling and I knew it. You're blonde and tanned, and your eyes are very expressive, and those whiskers makes you look exotic. Plus you're not a pervert. Even if you're too sincere, that's always a plus. So yeah, I think you're hot, Uzumaki, and I don't say it to many guys. I finished and I could feel my cheeks getting warmer and I could feel myself blushing, but I tried to fight it. I was not Hinata for Kami's sake. And besides, I could be blushing because of the sake, right? Nothing to do with the blonde in front of me and his piercing blue eyes that held my own. Thanks, I think you're hot too, Ino, he said, grinning at me, and I smiled back. You could get any guy you wanted. But I want you, damn it. I screamed in my head. So, here's to find the love we deserve, he said as he raised his cup. After a couple of hours drinking and talking, we were both drunk, so I asked her if she wanted to stay here for the night, cause none of us was in a decent state to leave the house anyway. She said yes, so I gentlemanly gave her my bed and I would sleep on the floor. You know, I feel bad for taking your bed, she said as she got out of the bathroom with one of my old t-shirts for her to sleep in. It's okay though, I didn't mean to get you drunk too, I said, smiling, but it was almost a perverted smile. I mean, I had a gorgeous woman in nothing but a shirt sleeping in my bed. I tried to put those thoughts on the back of my mind though. Even if she's no Sakura, she still has a mean right hook. I may be drunk, but I'm not suicidal. I'm not drunk, she yelled. Not so loud, Ino, I said, calming her a bit. Mean, it's 3 in the fucking morning for Kami's sake. Sorry, she said as she sat on the bed, her platinum free from her ponytail laid freely on my pillow. I wanted to touch it and feel how soft it was, even though my eyes traveled down for a second or two towards her long leg and creamy skin all the way up to, no. Wait, this is Ino, what the hell am I thinking? Fucking sake messing with my head. Damned hormones too. So, I don't mind sharing the bed with you, you know. She said as she patted one side. Are you sure? You're not going to hit me and then call me a pervert? I asked, fearful. I like my life, thank you very much. Come on, Uzumaki. Afraid of a little girl? I'm not going to bite you hard, she said with a mischievous smile. Like you could ever bite me, I yelled at her. Not so loud, Naruto, she said in a low voice. Now come to bed, I'm cold. I sighed and pulled up my shirt and turned off the lights. I laid down and gave her my back, so I'm not tempted to do something I would regret in the morning, or get kicked for later, but to my surprise she put her head on my back, her hot breath tickled my neck and she snaked her arm over me and held one of my hands, her fingers intertwined with mine and she murmured in my ear, "Night Naruto-kun," and she kissed me on the spot between the neck and the shoulder. A shiver run down my spine as she did it. I blushed hard, I couldn't believe it. Yamanaka Ino was in my bed, in only a t-shirt and panties, hugging and holding me, and then she kisses me. Me, Uzumaki Naruto. I was stunned. A few minutes passed and I could feel her even breaths on my back. She was asleep. Maybe my day wasn't so crappy after all. And with a smile on my lips I surrendered to exhaustion and into a world of bliss and dreams no longer filled with a certain pink and emerald-eyed girl, but with a platinum blonde. As I tried to turn around, I felt my head spin and hurt. I turned slowly now and hugged my pillow, or what I thought was my pillow, but this pillow was warm and soft and strangely smell of flowers. I reluctantly opened one eye to see a sea of platinum hair on top of my chest and I tried to remember why Ino, the only person I know with platinum hair, was sleeping in my bed. Oh yeah, I was drinking and she showed up, then we started drinking again and went to bed. As I tried to get up, she stirred and softly murmured, "Naruto-kun," as she snuggles on my side. I just smiled. Never thought I would hear that from her lips. "Morning, sleepyhead. Where you going?" she said as her grip on me tightened. "To the bathroom for some aspirins." My smile widened. "Oh, can you get me some too? My head's killing me," she said, letting me go. "Yeah, sure." I got up and walked to my medicine cabinet, which was stocked poorly. All I have were some stuff Sakura-chan gave me. Sakura, right, that was why I was drinking last night. I needed to stop thinking about her like that now, and she's with Sasuke. "Don't you eat anything that doesn't have noodles in it?" Ino yelled from the kitchen. Yeah," I said as I got the aspirins. "Sure you do, so how do you drink your coffee?" she said as she poured 2 cups. "Black, 2 sugars, I said as I sat on a counter. "You?" "Milk 3 sugars, she said as she passed me a cup. I thanked her and passed her some pills. "Are you feeling better?" "Yeah. I just needed to drown myself in sake and let it go. I always knew that when I brought him back I would lose her. Even though she was never mine to begin with." I chuckled a little at that, but I didn't know it would hurt this much. "You'll get over it." "I hope so." "Well, Uzumaki, I got to go. My shift in the flower shop starts in half an hour." "I hope you're feeling better. Can I use your bathroom for a little bit?" she asked as she put her cup in the sink. "Yeah, sure. The towels are in there if you need them," I said as I wandered back to bed. Once there I looked at the ceiling and let my thought run in my head. I'm happy that she finally got the man she always wanted. Now I got to let her go. I turned to the side. "I'm sure you'll find someone who loves you." "I hope you're right, Ino." I closed my eyes and drifted back to sleep. I really didn't want to leave him alone, but my mother would kill me if I skipped work, especially today, since it was my parents' anniversary. She wanted to go to a spa. God, how I wish I could have stay all day with Naruto, sleeping in his arms, hearing his voice, feeling his breath on my skin. That thought sent shivers down my spine. No, wait. Stop thinking that stuff, Ino. You need to hurry or you're dead. I took a quick shower, dressed, and when I walked back to the living bedroom Naruto was asleep. I chuckled a bit. I went to kiss his cheek and he mumbled something I didn't get, so I left the apartment and closed the door as stealthily as I could, not wanting to wake him up, and began hopping across the rooftops in direction to the flower shop. When I got there, I flipped the open sign and walked behind the counter towards the back door that goes to my parents' kitchen. As I was making a sandwich, my mom walked in. "Hey honey, thanks for coming on your day off, I really appreciate it." Yeah, go and have fun, I got to go back out," I said, sandwich in hand through the door. "Lunch is on the fridge," Mom yelled as I closed the door. It was a slow morning and I was bored out of my mind, but at least had time to work on the arrangement for my dad, and would come home just as I closed the shop. He'd already gave me the list of flower he waned for the bouquet, I just needed to out it together. I danced through the shop picking the flowers for my dad. He radio was playing one of my favorite songs. As I had all the flowers I started to put them together while I kept singing Way of Key, but hey. Who can sing on par to Whitney Houston anyway? I was so caught up, I didn't heard the doorbell of the front of the shop until the person was in front of the counter. "Hey Pig, do you want to go grab lunch with me?" asked my pink-haired friend who was the one who'd entered the shop, but I didn't notice an orange figure on the back. Sure, but my mom left me some food, do you want to eat here?" I asked her. "Sure, I'll tell Naruto I'll be here." "Wait, he's here," I screamed at her. "Yeah, he's in there looking at some plants or whatever." She waved her hand in the direction of the now visible orange figure that she hadn't noticed before. "Hey Naruto, do you wanna have lunch with us?" I yelled at him and Sakura shot me a dirty look. He turned around and said, "Hey Ino-chan." And he used his trademark foxy grin. God, my knees started to feel like jello. "Sorry, but I promised the guys I would train with them." He rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. "He looks so cute," I squalled inwardly. Damn my inner fangirl. "Hey, that's okay. So what are you looking for?" I asked that as I walked next to him. I didn't want Sakura to notice my blush. "Nothing much." He looked straight at me. "How's the hangover?" he asked in a low voice so Sakura couldn't listen. "I'm okay. I didn't drink as much as you did." I smiled at him. "Well, you tend to hold your liquor better once you've hang around Tsunade Bachan and Ero Sennin as much as I do." His eyes traveled back to the plan he was looking earlier. "Hey, I wanted to thank you for keeping me company last night, and for saying all the stuff you said. It really meant a lot to me." He smiled a small smile and I knew this one was a real one. "You're welcome, and I meant every word I said, Naruto-kun." I saw how his eyes widened at the added suffix to his name. I chuckled and walked back to where Sakura was. Naruto said goodbye to us with a dumbfounded expression on his face as he left the shop. All I could do was laugh at his dazzled look. "So forehead, do you want to eat or not?" I said aloud as I out on the lunch sign at the door. As I turned around I chuckled at Sakura's blank look. "What's up with him?" the pink-haired girl said. "How should I know? You're his teammate, you're the one who knows him better," I said in a serious tone, but on the inside, I was cheering and jumping. Eno 105, Sakura 72. "I don't know, something is up with him, he's not his usual self, you know," she said as she sat down at the kitchen table. "What do you mean?" "I didn't notice anything weird about him," I said as I got out the food my mom left on the fridge, a lettuce and some tomatoes for salad. "How can you say that? He called you, Ino-chan, and didn't try to ask me on a date, or have lunch with him, or wasn't his usual obnoxious self," the emerald-eyed girl said with a shocked and disbelieved face. "Oh, now that you mention it, he did call me Ino-chan," I said as I peeled the tomatoes with a smile on my face. "Yeah." Sakura rolled her eyes at me. "So, you said that he didn't ask you out on a date. How come that's a bad thing?" "I mean, you live complaining about that, and now that he stops, you're complaining that he stops asking you. I don't get you, forehead. Isn't that what you've wanted for the past, I don't know, decade or something?" I said as I started to slice the tomatoes. "Yeah, you're right, it's a good thing that he'd stopped, and it's just so sudden, you know. I mean, just yesterday he is his usual self and today he's like a very different person. It's like he got over me overnight, and I don't know what I did for him to be like this. If I did, I would have done it a lot sooner. You know, Pig, he didn't even told me Sakura-chan like he used to for Kami know how long. Maybe he realized you're a lost cause, and that you will never love him back, so maybe he just moved on," I said as I finished with the tomatoes and moved on to the lettuce. "Maybe I should confront him," my pink-haired friend said. "I don't know if that's a good idea, forehead. You just said that he'd just changed today. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it just yet. Give him some time to process whatever made him change." "So you're saying I should avoid him?" "No, I'm saying that just don't bring the subject up yet. Maybe he's just stresses out or something and you're just overreacting. I mean, let's face it, the boy has been head over heels for you since the academy. That doesn't just go away overnight, you know. Yeah, you're right, pig. So, what are we having for lunch? After training I could stop thinking about Ino. She had changed a lot since I got back 4 years ago. She's been nicer to me since that. She was there for me when Ero Senin died. I thought it was because she knew what I was going through. She didn't say a word. She was just there keeping me company. After my talk with Shikamaru, I felt better. However, thanks to her I wasn't alone. When we brought Sasuke Tem back, she never went to see him. She would always come visit me to the hospital and she would bring a flower with her. It was nice of her to do that. Sure, Sakura came to visit too, but her visits were always work-related. She would come and do his checkups, talk about how Sasuke was doing and then left. Ino on the other hand would come and talk for hours with me. It was then that I saw why Sakura and she were friends, even though they were at each other's throats every now and then. Nevertheless, I was glad and happy that she considered me one of her friends. Ino was like a beautiful rosé. Pretty and dangerous, delicate, but if you made her angry she would hurt you until no end. She's kind and comfortable to be around. She can be the prettiest in a room but never overshadows another girl. Sure, in the past, she was loud and vain, but now she's mature and if she can make a friend feel better she would without thinking about it, and she would go out of her way and do everything to make it possible. She still loves attention, just not any kind of attention like me. I just hoped I'd realized a lot sooner what a great girl she really is. Maybe I need to thank her properly for last night, and it would help me not to be alone again. Maybe if I made her dinner. Because I don't have enough money to take her out. Nah, she probably has plans already, but I don't lose anything with asking, right? I mean, one more rejection won't hurt, right? I'm going to ask Choji for help, at least he won't get the wrong idea like Kiba would, or say it's too troublesome like Shikamaru would. Maybe I should ask a girl's opinion, but I don't know many girls. Let's see, Tenten and Hinata are busy. I could ask Sakura, but I don't want her laughing at me. Oh, I know. I'll ask Ba-chan. I jump through the rooftops of Konoha in the direction of the Hokage Tower. I enter Ba-chan's office through the window only to find the old hag sleeping at her desk. And with a mischievous grin, I made a familiar cross with my fingers and whispered the jutsu. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. I gave my clones a nod when they got into position as I got on the ceiling. I count to 3 in my head and put my plan into motion. A slim figure with killer curves walks into a casino. Her hazel eyes show determination. She's dressed in white top and blue capris with black high heels, her blonde hair tied into 2 low pigtails. She has a purple diamond mark on her forehead and a green and black robe that on the back has the kanji for legendary sucker. As Tsunade walks around the slots machine, all the men inside the casino looks at her with hungry eyes. But as her hazel eyes travel through the faces of her many admirers, she catches a glimpse of spiky white hair near the bar. As she walks closer to the bar, the figure turns around to face her and her breath caught in her throat. There at the bar is none other than her deceased teammate Jiraiya. A single tear runs down her cheek as she's frozen in her steps. He grins at her, picks up his drink, and motions her to a solitaire blackjack table. She sits down in front of him. Neither said a word. A waiter offers her something to drink and she orders a bottle of sake as the dealer shuffles the deck of cards. Tsunade looks deep into the eyes of the man in front of her. Why is that pervert in my dream? He's never been in one of them before. She lowers her gaze towards the 2 cards in front of her. A jack and a 9 of clovers. And places her bet. The pervert in front of her does the same. And the dealer flopped the river. Damn, I lost, thought the blonde medic. Damn lucky bastard, she cursed under her breath, causing the pervert to smile. Even in my fucking dreams I can't win. They kept playing for a little while until the toad Sanin said, "How you've been, Heim? It's boring without you, perv. I have no one to hit. Ha ha ha, but you got the brat for that, don't you?" Yeah, but is not the same. He always ruins it with those stupid clones of his. Damn, I lost again. Listen, Haim, he said seriously, the reason I came here is because. Jiraiya's voice was muted by another one. Ba-chan, wake up. What? Jiraiya, say it again. I didn't hear you, she said as she tried to get closer to the white-haired ninja. I said, Baa-chan, wake up. As she blinked, the casino was gone and a pile of paperwork came to her vision. A vein popped on her forehead and her fist connected with the face of a smiling blonde. A poof was heard in the Hokage's office. I'm so glad you woke up, Ba-chan. Poof. Another fist connected a clone. Please, Ba-chan, I need your help. Poof. With something I had planned. Poof. For tonight. Poof. Cause. Poof. I need. Poof. To thank. Poof. Ino-chan. Poof. With a dinner. Poof. Or something. Poof. So. Poof. I. Poof. Need. Poof. Your. Poof. Opinion. Poof. Please. Poof. As I saw Tsunade a little more calmed, I dispelled all the other clones and came sewn from the ceiling. So, are you going to help me? You're the only woman I can talk about this stuff. I looked at her with pleading eyes, waiting for her answer. So is Ino-chan now, nay brat, she said with the scariest smile I have ever seen, and I knew she was going to torture me until my death. Yeah, so? That's not important. What can I do to thank her? First, yes, it is important, and second, why are you thanking her for? She said as she walked back to her desk and started to read some scrolls. Well, I started as I sat down in a chair in front of her. Yesterday I was having the same old crappy day. Moreover, you did not help with that C rank you threw on me, by the way. But when I was on my way to get some ramen, I saw Sakura and Sasuke going out on a date, and I know it was a date cause Sasuke had a rose in his hands. So, where does Ino come into all this? She said as she signed some papers. I was a little depressed and I bumped into her, and I guess she got worried or something because later she came to my apartment to keep me company and to talk, so I want to do something for her to thank her for being there for me. So what do you have in mind? You said something about dinner, right? Yeah, I was thinking about taking her out or something, but I'm a little short on cash, so I thought I could make her some. So do you think she'll like it? I said as I found something very interesting on the floor. You can cook, she said almost laughing. Yes, does everyone think I live of ramen or something? I said irritated. Pretty much, she said giggling, but yeah, I think she would like it if you made her dinner. It would be like a date. She finished smiling. A date, I yelled, but that's not what I meant, I said, shocked into my horror, blushing. Ah, the brat's all gowned up. I need to tell Shizune, she said as she got up and left the office. Wait, Ba-chan, it's not a date, I yelled, still red as tomato. Shizune, come here and bring the sake. We need to celebrate that the brat is becoming a man. I heard her yell. Man, now I'm screwed. Thank God Ero Sennin it's not here to start giving me his books to learn a few tips like he always did. Wait, Tsunade-sama, what do you mean that Naruto has a date? And why do you need sake? I heard Shizune at the other side of the door. That's what I said, the brat's got a date with the Yamanaka girl, now we need to celebrate, just get the sake and come have a drink. The blonde Hokage said, it's not a date. After Sakura left, I couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. Was Naruto really over her? Maybe now I got a shot with him. I mean, he did call me Ino-chan. And he'd never called me that before. I grinned. I looked at the clock. 5:35. Just 20 more minutes and I'm out. I'm going to train for a bit, have a long bath, then watch a movie and call it a night. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I went to the back of the shop for a nice paper to wrap my dad's bouquet when I heard the doorbell. Hi, welcome to Yamanaka's flower shop, how can I help you? I said cheerfully. Hey Ino-chan, can I ask you question? Said the blonde of my dreams. Hey Naru-kun, sure, what do you need to know? Ah, if you invite a girl over for a dinner, which is just a friend, does that count as a date? He said, blushing. I was shocked. Did Naruto have a date? How? When? With who? I'm gonna kill that bitch. Not necessarily. Do you like this girl more than a friend? Say no please. I was pulling my hair on the inside. Please say no. I don't know, maybe. Kill me now. I thought, oh, okay. So, who you're making dinner for? Is it forehead? No. Yes, Hinata, I said, trying to figure out who the hell it was. No. 10-10. No. Then who? So I can kill her. I almost yelled at him. I was hoping, oh man, why did the old hag say that? You have a date with Tsunade-sama. My jaw drops to the floor. Ew. No, I was going to ask you to come over to dinner, he said blushing. Oh, I blushed. Yes, I have a date with Naruto-kun. Take that forehead. So when do you plan to do it? I asked. Tonight if that's okay with you, he smiled at me. Sure. How about 8? Sure. See ya then, he said and then walked out of the shop. Oh, Kami, I was in heaven. First, I woke up in the bed of my loved one, and now I'm going to have dinner. Wait. Can he even cook? I hope he doesn't make ramen or something. Oh Kami, what am I going to wear? I need to go shopping. And do my hair and nails. Oh my god. I'm screwed, I'm running out of time. I got to my apartment and put the groceries in the kitchen. Even though I'm not a big fan of vegetables, I do eat them from time to time. So first, I cut the meat and put it in a bowl with some spices to rest. Then I made the soup and the rice. I opened a bottle of sake and poured a cup to drink it while I cook. After that was done, I tied up the apartment and finally took a shower. Man, I needed some hot water to soften my sore muscles. As I was in the shower, I thought about my talk with Ino. So you like her more than a friend? Maybe. I mean, she's beautiful and I like been around her, and it feel nice to wake up near her. Feel her breath on my neck, and how warm her body felt against mine. Her delicate arms wrapped around me. Her chest pressed against my back. Wait, stop it, you pervert. I turned off the water and dry myself. Maybe I do have feelings for her. I chuckle a bit as I put out of the closet a black t-shirt and a white button-up long-sleeve shirt that I left open, and I rolled up the sleeves so I can finish cooking. Some black pants and went to the kitchen to start the meat. I set up the table and finished the last of my drink. I looked at the clock. 8:11. I sat on my bed and turned on the TV. As I waited for my blonde friend to arrive. 15 minutes later, there's a knock on my door. I got up and tried to comb my hair one last time. Even though I know, it's a lost cause. As I opened the door, my breath was caught up on my throat. Wow! There at my doorstep was the most beautiful girl in the whole world. Ino had her hair down of her usual ponytail. A black top that left one shoulder bare, a black mini skirt and black strapped sandals. That mini skirt drove me crazy. It showed her long legs. It took me a while to come back to my senses and stop all the perverted ideas that run through my mind. Hey Foxy, can I come in or are you going to keep staring at me? She said in the voice I've ever heard. Sure, come in, I mumbled as I stepped aside. She walked in swaying those hips from side to side. I was almost in a trance. I couldn't look away. Oh man, keep it cool, I said to myself as I closed the door. Do you want a drink? I asked to the goddess that was in my home. Sure, she giggled as I tripped on the carpet. Damn it, I cursed under my breath. So you did cook. It smells good, she said as she played with her long platinum hair. Do you doubt me? I said as I got her a cup and filled both hers and mine. No, and it's not ramen, that's a surprise. I eat other stuff too, you know. It's just that ramen is fast to make and the most delicious food in the world, I said as I sat down and took a sip of my drink. I'm just joking, you know, I like ramen too. Just not as much as you, she giggled. Really? Yeah, after you left, I was curious about why did you always eat at Ichiraku's? I mean, yes, I had ramen before, but I didn't saw what it was about it that made you crazy over it, So I went and bought a bowl and it did tasted wonderful, but I still don't get why you like it so much, she said as she took her cup and drank a sip. I chuckled and gave her a foxy grin. I don't go there because of the ramen, even if that's a big part of the reason why I go there. I go to Ichiraku's because Ayame-chan and Tuki-san are like family to me. Did you know my mom would go there almost every day when she was pregnant with me? I said as I stirred my sake. You know who your parents were? She said shocked. Yeah, I've known for years now. I sipped my drink. And you didn't tell anyone? She said a bit shocked. Well, no one asked me. The only ones that know are Ba-chan, Shizune, Yamato Taiko and Kakashi-sensei. So, are you going to tell me? My mom's name was Uzumaki Kushina. She was loud and a tomboy. She was a great kunoichi, but she wasn't born in Konoha. Her village doesn't exist anymore. But my dad was the greatest. You wouldn't believe me if I told you who he was, I said laughing. So you get your personality from your mom, nay? She said raising an eyebrow. Pretty much. So who was you dad? She drank a bit more. The yondaime. She spitted her drink all over the room and I laughed. I knew I would get a reaction, but this was too much. What? She screamed. Yeah, even I couldn't believe it. He even told me he believed in me. That was a freaky talk. What? You talked to him, but isn't he dead? He died when he sealed the kyuubi in you. How can that be possible? Her jaw was on the floor. I laughed at her expression. Well, it was a freaky reunion, you know. I haven't told anyone this, only Kakashi-sensei, so this can't leave the room. She nodded and I could see her eyes were focused on me. Waiting for my story, I was only going to talk about my dad, because I didn't want to scare her telling her about my mom too. I could feel my cheeks turning red under her gaze. I tried to focus on what I had to say. I took my cup and drank it all. Okay, so I was fighting pain, and he had me pinned on the floor and Hinata came to help me. She said she loved me and then attacked, but I couldn't continue because Ino spilled her drink on me, again. She said she loved you. She screamed. Yeah, in the middle of the fucking fight. We'll talk about that later. Go on, she said as she poured herself more sake. I just hoped she wouldn't spill it again. So, she attacked Pain. He sends her flying. They fought a while, and then he kicked her and left her unconscious. I saw her not getting up and I lost it. I tapped into Kyuubi's chakra. Inside the seal in my mindscape, I was about to tear the seal and let Kyuubi out when a hand grabbed me, and took me away from the seal in the cage. I was so lost I didn't notice who it was. When I looked up, there in front of me was the yondaime. The man since I was little was my idol, my hero. I wanted to be like him. I only looked at him in awe. Then he told me he didn't expect it for that to happen, but he was also glad he could get to see his son. I couldn't believe it. He, the yondaime, the one that made my life shit because of that stupid fox sealed inside me, was my father. I was so angry and happy at the same time. I didn't know what to think or do. Then we went to this white place, and when I realized what the hell was happening, the first thing I did was hit him and yell at him for sealing the stupid fox inside me. He said he was sorry and that he couldn't ask another family to sacrifice their children if he as Hokage couldn't do it himself. I guess he was right. And then we talked about Pain, and that it was Madara the one that made the Kyuubi attack the village when I was born. After he fixed the seal, he said he believed in me, and that he loved me, and so did my mom. I finished pouring myself another drink. And all of this happened in your mind? No, the seal and my mind are two different things. My dad said he put some of his chakra, and when I went 8 tails it activated his image, clone, whatever it was. Wow, if your dad was the yondaime, how come you have your mom's name? I will next year, when I'm 21, and also I will get his house and money. I don't have it yet because it was a secret, and also because he made many enemies on the Third Ninja War, IWA being the most dangerous of all. So, what was his name? The Yellow Flash, Namikaze Minato. I sipped my drink. So Namikaze Naruto, when are we going to eat? Or are you trying to get me drunk? Hee hee, sorry, I'll bring the food right away. I got up and went to the kitchen. Namikaze Ino. Has a nice ring to it, Ino thought, and she giggled. Do you need help, Namikaze? No, I'm good. I putted the soup on the table and then went to get the rice and the meat. So I'm Namikaze now, Yamanaka, I said as I sat down. It'll be our secret for now, Foxy, she said, grinning. Wow, this looks great. Hope you like it, Ino-chan, I said, grinning. Itadaikamatsu, we both said. Wow, Naru-kun, I'm going to come more often for dinner, this is great. I blushed. You should feel lucky, you're the first person I've ever cooked for, I gave her a foxy grin. So, why did you ask me to come for dinner? She said as she served herself another bite of meat. I wanted to thank you for being there for me last night, also because I like talking to you, I feel like I can tell you anything. I'm glad you can me, because I trust you too. You know, I never got to thank you for being there for me when Asuma-sensei died, you really helped me get better, you know. That's what friends do, right? I smiled at her. Yeah. Oh hey, what did you said to Hinata after she told you she loved you? I told her I was flattered that she loved me for so long, but that I loved Sakura, so I couldn't return her feelings and that I didn't want to lose her as a friend because of it. I think she likes Kiba now, and we're still friends, so we're cool, I said as I took a spoon of my soup. So that's why Kiba went to the flower shop the other day, she said to herself. After dinner we kept drinking and talking. I was so caught up in the conversation I didn't notice it was 11:40, and what surprised me was that I didn't want Ino to leave. It's getting late, she giggled. Yes it is, I looked at her aqua-colored eyes and tried to read them. What are you staring at, Namikaze? She asked slyly. You, I blurted without thinking. She blushed a lovely shade of pink and my mouth watered. Cammy, she's beautiful. Why? Do I have something on my teeth? She asked shyly, covering her mouth with her hands. No, silly, I laughed. Then what is it? I was just thinking how beautiful you are. You think so? She blushed even more. Of course, Ino-chan, I'm sure you hear that a lot, I said, smiling. Yeah, she laughed. Hey Ino, why is a pretty girl like you still single? I asked her. I was very curious. I knew she had a lot of guys drooling over her, I'm one of those now. But she never gives them the time of the day. Ha ha, 'cause the guy the first like is in love with another girl, she said as she poured herself one last drink. That guy must be nuts not to notice you. Yeah, but I can't help it, he's everything I've ever wanted, even if he doesn't notice me like I want him to, I'm still only his friend. I'm sure he'll come around. I would. Maybe you just need to tell him. Maybe. Hey, do you walk me home? I don't think I can walk straight, she giggled. Sure, let me grab a coat for you and we're out. I got up, pulled my orange jacket, and passed it to her. As we walked through the streets of Konoha, we talked a bit more about nothing really, but his words earlier still echoed on my mind. Maybe you just need to tell him. All the way from his home to mine, I tried to build up the courage to tell him how I felt, even if it seems soon, because only yesterday his heart was broken. I still felt like it was time. After he made dinner and all the stuff he trusted me with, the least I could do was telling him. I owed him that much at least. As we walked, okay, maybe not walked, more like danced to the doorstep, 'cause we were swaying from side to side as we walked. I put my back on the wall to help me support myself. Naruto was in front of me. His hands were also on the wall to keep him steady. I looked into his eyes and I knew now was the time. I pulled myself off the wall and got closer to him. He didn't move, which was good. Thanks for walking me home, Naruto-kun, I said as I hugged him. No problem, Ino-chan, he said next to my ear. His warm breath sent shivers down my back. I pulled a little away and I kissed him on the cheek. You're the one I like, Namikaze, I whispered and pulled away from him. She stiffens a bit, his eyes grew wide, and I smiled to myself. Night, Naru-kun. I opened my door and as I looked back he still looked dumbfounded, trying to say something. I chuckled. As I was closing the door, I heard a low, Night Ino-chan. I walked into my apartment and took a big breath. I did it, I said it. I squealed and giggled like a schoolgirl. And I'm going to attribute this immature display to the alcohol I consumed this night. I run to my bed and I notice I still had his jacket. I put it closer to me and I breathe in his scent. It smelled like a forest after the rain. I closed my eyes and drifted to sleep thinking about him. Cammy, how I wish I could have slept with him like yesterday again. Well, I got left as imaging it right. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. Damn it, I said under my breath. Come on, Piggy, it's that all you can do? Sakura said as she threw a kunai at me. I shouldn't have got drunk last night, my head it's killing me. I don't know how Tsunade-sama does it, I'm never going to that bar again. I don't know how Forehead doesn't have a headache, maybe she knows a technique to cure hangovers. It would be awesome if it existed. Girls' night out She just did it to spice me today. Damn, I didn't even want to train anyway. I thought as I dodged the kunai and threw some shuriken at the pink-haired giant's forehead. Stupid Forehead challenging me to a fight. I'll show her, I'm going to win, and then sleep. Yeah, bed here I come. I lunged at Sakura and went for a kick on the head as she dodged the weapons I'd thrown just a few seconds ago. But instead of dodging to the left as I'd thought, she went backwards. That bitch, I yelled in my head. She followed the kick as she spun her head to the side, her body twisting as she did so. Is she a fucking contortionist or something? I wondered. Then she lunged her fist at my ribs. But I blocked her with my arm. Thank God we'd ruled out chakra-enhanced fist and, unfortunately, my clan's jutsu. I jumped away as I saw her other fist charge forward. I took a deep breath as I did some hand signs. Suiten. Suihachi, I yelled as I raised my hand and shot a stream of water towards Sakura, making her jump to the side. I quickly moved my arm in her direction, but the sneaky bitch punched the ground to try and cover herself with the piece of the ground that she'd ripped apart. That's better, pig, but not quite well, she smirked. Sakura run at me with a kunai in hand. I too grabbed one from my pouch and run at her. We clashed in the middle of the training field. Both looked at each other's eyes with resolve and determination to win our match. We back away and start a series of hand signs. Suiten. Mizoripa, I yelled. Doden. Doryuso, yelled Sakura. As we were about to launch at each other again, we heard a yell. Sakura. Ino, stop. We turned to see an Anbu with two buns on top of her head. 10-10, I thought. Hey guys. Sorry to interrupt, but I was sent to tell you, Sakura, that you need to go to the hospital ASAP. Sure, I'll be right over, Sakura said and run away to the trees where we left our things. So, how've been 10? I asked the dragon-masked girl in front of me. I've been okay. Lots of work and no fun. I'm so looking forward to the party tomorrow, she said with a happy tone. Sure, me too. Can't wait to see all those hot Anbu teammates of yours, I said with a mischievous smile. Yes, I know. I love Naruto, but a girl can still look right. Besides, I'm still single, so I might as well enjoy it. I just want to see everybody. It's been ages since we all hang out together. Yeah, you're right. I smiled at the brunette. So, I'm going back to my house. It was nice seeing you again, 10. I said as Sakura run back with our stuff. Bye, Ino, she said as both disappeared in a cloud of smoke, leaving a few leaves on their previous spot. Since it was still early and I didn't feel like going back to the house. Too much adrenaline flowing in my veins from all that fighting and stuff. I decided to grab my weapons, and all the scattered ones too, and directed my steps towards the target place on Training Ground 5. As I got there, I started practicing my aim. Weapons weren't my strongest area, and if wanted to get a promotion and get into Anbu, I needed to be at least better. Sure, I wanted to be inside the TI department like my dad. But it was just so boring. I wanted action. And so, I needed training. I tried to concentrate on what I was doing, but I kept thinking on what I said to Naruto 2 nights ago. Maybe it was too soon and I screwed up everything, and now things between us are going to be awkward. Maybe he doesn't even like me in that way, just like he didn't like Hinata. Oh Kami, why did I ever said that thing in the first place? Oh yeah, I was drunk. I threw another kunai towards the target. What am I going to do now if he says he doesn't love me back? I don't know if I can see or even talk to him again after that. I don't know how Hinata did it. Maybe I can ask her for some advice. Yeah, I'm going to talk to her later, cause she's probably busy right now. I kept throwing my weapons to the target until a lazy Jonin with an orange book showed up. Yo, he raised an arm waving at me, but never taking his eyes away from the book. I sweat dropped. Is he always like this? Ino-san, Hokage-sama wants to see you. Today I had the weirdest dream of my life. It all started in a city. I was hiding from something, or someone, my back pressed to the wall, my breathing even and noiseless. But I could still hear very loudly the beat of heart. It was pounding, going so very fast I thought it might explode. It was just in my imagination though. My palms were sweaty as I gripped more firmly the kunai in my hand. If the thing caught me, I was dead, I knew it. With a shaky breath I picked at the corner of the wall I was hiding behind. And I saw a black shadow, human figure at the other side, looking for something. Specifically, me. Adrenaline rushed in my veins as the figure started to walk towards me and I cursed and began to do hand seals. Futen. Daitapa, I yelled but I never even touched him. I started to panic, I was going to die. He kept walking slowly, too slowly for my own sake. If I was going to die the least he could do was ending my life quickly, spare me the waiting. But no, the figure just kept coming slower. Then as the light hit him my breath left my lungs and my jaw dropped to the floor. There standing right in front of me was something right out of Ika Ika. Yes, I know it's porn, but I had to read some of it to give the pervert of an author some advice and whatnot while we were traveling. Besides, reading Ika Ika was the only way the perv thought when he deemed me ready for the talk after a very awkward morning and a very explicit R-rated dream. So anyway, there on the spotlight was a very, I could feel the blood trying to sprinkle from my nose just at the sight of such a gorgeous girl standing in front of me in all her glory. And man was I appreciating the sight. She didn't do a thing, she just stood there and smiled at me. Hey nah, Ru, too, kun. She said practically moaning as she tugged off her loose ponytail letting her platinum blonde hair fall over her shoulders and back, some even teasing her perfectly well-endowed breast with strands of blonde obscuring her appetizing soft pink nipples. She played a little with her hair. And I was probably drooling at the sight. My eyes traveled all over her flawless body. Her perfectly long legs, her round hips. The way her unbound hair caressed those supple mounds. I swallowed hard. I could feel it, the way my pants started to feel uncomfortable and tight. Yes, she moaned as she started to play with herself. My eyes glued at the way her delicate fingers pinched and twisted her rosy nipples. What are you doing? I thought I was on a mission, and, oh God, will you stop that for a second? I could feel myself getting harder inside my pants. Why Naruto-kun? Don't you like what you see? She said in a sultry voice, as she pressed her breast together with her hands curving her back a little to make them push forwards almost against his chest. And that motion also made her round and toned back side stick out. Oh yeah, I liked what I saw. Who red-blooded male wouldn't like her like that? I asked you a question, Ino. What are you doing here? He was trying with all his might not to grab her and kiss her stupid and have his way with her. Naruto, don't you see? I blinked owlishly at her, trying and failing at only looking at her flushed face. This is a dream, she said as her hand let go of one of her breasts to touch lightly at the bulge straining against my pants. I growled low in the back of my trough. Well, if this was a dream, might as well enjoy it. I looked at Ino's darker eyes, clouded with lust, and my instincts take over. I kissed her long and hard, making her moan against my lips. My hands traveled from her waist to her soft chest, and she moaned at the back of her throat, fueling my lust. I wanted to hear more of those. I pinched and twisted her nipples gently, trying to make her moan again. And she did, the most arousing sound I've ever heard. She pulled away from the kiss, and said in that breathy voice, "Naruto, I can't take it anymore, I need you." "What do you want, Ino?" I asked as I kissed her neck, my lips tasting all the flesh she exposed to my hungry eyes and mouth. "I want you, I need you inside me, now," she almost moaned at the end, and pushed her body flush against mine, and it felt so good I couldn't say no. I pulled away and started to remove my cloths, fully exposing myself to her. She eyed me hungrily, like a jungle cat watching its prey. It felt great, having this strong, beautiful woman become this needy and sexy mess, just for me, for my eyes to see, and I wanted more. I want it to be real. But as luck would have it, like everything else in my life, it was lost. The moment I touched her again, my senses went back to reality and I woke up to a tap on my window. I was really going to murder someone. "Yujiro Tonkachi," said a low monotone voice on the other side of the window. "Tem," I said back. "Get up, we have a mission, get to East Gate, we leave in an hour," was the short message of the last Uchiha. "Okay, see ya then," I replay, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. Maybe it was a good thing that he had a mission. He'd have time to think about the meaning of the dreams he'd had lately, featuring a blonde girl instead of the usual pink-haired one. "Come in," I heard the Hokage's voice said inside her office. "You wanted to see me, Hokage-sama," I said as I opened the door. "Yes, how did your date went?" she said, and I blushed. "How did you know?" I asked, shocked. "Because the brat came to ask me for some advice. So is it true that he can cook?" "Yeah, and it wasn't ramen," I said with a big smile. So, the blonde Hokage began her interrogation against the possible suitor for her brat's attention. "Am I to assume that you have feelings for the brat, correct?" "Yes, Hokage-sama, I had them for a while, but I knew he liked Sakura, so I didn't say anything cause I knew I didn't have a chance with him," I said as truthfully as I could. "I see," she said. "I hope you know that if you or anyone breaks his heart, I will see personally that she suffers a terrible punishment." She glared at me. "But I can see that you truly care about him, and that he cares for you too, but that's not why I made you come today here." "Really? So, I have a mission," I said more calmly. "Yes, your team will be in the East Gate in an hour. You'll be briefed there. You're going on a rank mission with Team Kakashi. You'll be Sakura's replacement, because Sakura's in the hospital doing an urgent procedure. Now you're dismissed," said the Hokage with a shooing motion with her hand as the other went on the hunt for the hidden sake she had stashed in one of the drawers in her desk. "Hi Hokage-sama," I said and shunshin to my apartment to prepare for the mission. "Great, just what I needed, a mission with Naruto. This won't be awkward at all," I sighed and went to do my backpack. Scrolls, check. Kunai and shurikens, check. Explosive tags, check. Ninja wire, check. Food, water, check. Soldier pills, medical kit, check. Cloths, sleeping bag, towel, check. Personal stuff, check. Okay, I'm done. Now I can get a sandwich and tea, and then head out to meet with the team. 15 minutes later I closed my apartment and walked towards the eastern gate. My stomach had butterflies flying all around, and not for the first time, I felt like a 12-year-old girl gathering the courage to tell the boy she likes that she loved him. Only I didn't felt this nervous at 12 as I declare my undying love for Sasuke all those years ago. As the gate started to come to view, all I wanted to do was to go back to my house, get in bed and don't come out until 2 or 10 years later. Oh Kami, why did I ever told him? Stupid, stupid, stupid. Now I'm going to crash and burn. Just please let it be quick, so I can sulk in sorrow and depression. Oh Kami, I need a drink. As I stopped in the designated gate the team would be meeting, I only saw one figure standing casually against a tree with his hands inside his pant pockets, and a scowl marring the pale face of the last Uchiha. "Hey Sasuke, where's the rest?" I asked, trying to be friendly, but not as the girl who worshipped the ground he walked on anymore. That was reserved for another boy now. "HN," was his replay. Sasuke, you know, I don't speak Uchiha, so could you please elaborate? I said, flicking away the hair in front of my eyes. I said that they should be here any second now. Well, at least the Dobi should be. Kakashi, well, that can be from minutes till 3 hours from now. That's why we say the hour we're going to get here wrong. He said. A slight twitch from the corner of his lips was visible for only a fraction of a second, but as I was trained to see every twitch in a person's body for interrogation purposes, I saw it, and I nearly gasped at the significance of said uncontrolled, to an extent, show of emotion. So all I did was stare, and stare some more. Uchiha, all I want is revenge. Sasuke has just almost smiled at the thought of the little, annoying quirk of his old teacher. It almost made him seem a little more human in her eyes. It was also a surprise that said Sasuke had answered her question. And he didn't even scowl or glare at her. Maybe his relationship with the pink-haired girl has done some good to him after all. And so, still on a daze, I rested my back against a tree nearby and tried to make sense of this new development. He has late, he knew, and he wasn't very keen on going now because of the beating he would receive from a very annoyed pink-haired kunoichi. He really didn't want to deal with all the lovey-dovey shit they would pull throughout the entire length of the mission. On the bright side, he had Kakashi there to talk to, or annoy to death. A grin formed on his lips. Yes, anything to escape the vivid dreams he'd had lately, all of them weird in his opinion. Because the star of all his dreams was a blonde, blue-eyed girl who just a nights before declared very subtly her love for him. He'd been in a daze lately. He still couldn't believe a girl like Ino, who could have any guy in this village, would choose him, out of all of them. All thoughts about pink hair and green eyes vanished from his mind so quickly after those words escaped from those full pink lips of the blonde girl, that he'd felt lost. He'd loved Sakura for so long now, that this new development had him out of his comfort zone. Sure, he'd had girls, declare her love for him, but he couldn't see himself with Hinata, not when Sakura was still there and non-attached to someone. But now that he'd seen it with his own eyes that Sakura was no longer single, he could move on, fall in love with another girl and be happy. That's why, when Ino had told him that he was the boy she had feelings for, he was out of the loop. Could he really move on and fall for Ino? Was his subconscious telling him through dreams that Ino was the right girl for him? Or just because she'd said those words he finally realized that there were more girls besides Sakura, and that he deserved to be happy for once? He didn't know, but he'd had all this mission time away from the village to find out his feelings towards the blonde Yamanaka. Yes, he'd had all the time in the world to think on this mission about his more recent thoughts and possible feelings. Sakura would be too busy drooling over Sasuke, Sasuke will be his usual antisocial self, and Kakashi will be too entranced by his perverted book to notice the loud boy had gone quiet as he muled over this thoughts. So this mission maybe was a miracle after all, and not a torture as he's first thought it would be. So finally arriving at the meeting spot, he had to do a double take. What was she doing here? Sometimes he wondered if the gods had a thing for making his life miserable. Hey Naruto, she said with a big smile on her face. Sasuke just looked down from where he was perched in a tree branch to acknowledge his presence. Ino, I said back to her cheerful response. Really? Was Bachan out to get him too? Where's Sakura? I asked to the Tem. Noticing how Ino's smile dimmed a little at the question. She has to stay in the hospital for a while, so she's here to replace her as our medic, plus she's good at scouting, from what I heard, responded the Tem. I blinked at him. He blinked back. You actually said all of that in English? And not Uchiha grunts and stuff? Sasuke glared. And I just blink again. Oh my god, the world was coming to an end. Save the children and the women. Run for the hills, the end is coming. He grunted. Ah, that's more like it. I was beginning to panic. Seriously Tem, don't scare me like that. I gave a relief sigh. Ino blinked, having missed some kind of inside joke or something. I only smiled and shook my head. She's better off not knowing how close to total destruction the world was just a few minutes ago. I put my pack near the wall and leaned against it. It was such a beautiful day, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, Sasuke was brooding, Kakashi was late. All was okay in the world. Several minutes later Kakashi was there and the 4 ninja left to city. The mission scroll says the guy they needed to take out was. One thing I never would have guessed, having not being witness of this event, was that Naruto could be quiet and very stealthily. Really, the man moved like a shadow, the 3 of them did really, and that left her feeling a little out of place. She was the only one make some kind of noise, even if it was minimal, and wouldn't gave them away really, but it was frustrating. None of them spoke to each other, they only glanced, and blinked, little movements or twitches of one muscle or hand, and they all understood where they're heading or some shit they were saying. She didn't know really. How come a twitch of an eyebrow transformed in a need for a break, or the movement of a pinky a need to go to a nearby tree to take a leak? Besides, they were running like a fire was chasing them. Really, what was the hurry? Maybe being in a team with a lazy and a black hole for stomach had spoiled her a little bit. She was used to make a little breaks here and there, but this team, it was like they were machines. Didn't they need food? It was already getting dark and all she'd have as far as food goes was the sandwich and tea she had this morning, and it was 6:30 in the afternoon. She was hungry, tired, and ready to explode. If someone didn't order a break now, she would literally fall from the branch as a sack of potatoes. She was panting, trying to conceal her heavy breaths as they once again jumped from branch to branch. The blonde of her dreams looked at her direction from the side, only to receive a glare in return. She was tired and grumpy. She needed a break now. Sensing the mood of the blonde girl beside him, he gave a low sigh and called the others to a stop. She was really grateful, but it didn't make the exhaustion or the mood she was feeling any better. She just collapsed on the ground and took a big gulp of water from her bottle. 3 sets of eyes followed her movements. She just glared at them. "I think we should make camp," said the blonde boy. "HN," was the Uchiha's response as he drifted towards the woods looking for some wood to make a fire. Kakashi just shrugged and put his pack on the ground and continued to read his book. Naruto sighed and went to retrieve some water from a nearby river or lake or whatever. She didn't really care. Well, yes, she did care, but right now he just wasn't her priority. A few minutes later, they were all gathered around the fire, silently staring at the fire. Her started to twitch. She had always dreamed of being on a mission with these 3 individuals. She'd always envied Sakura for being a part of this team. But now she only felt pity for her friend. Really, no talk at all. Even Naruto had been quiet all day. What happened with the chatterbox she'd go with on missions when they were genin? Besides, he hadn't said a word to her, not even a sideway glance. Maybe he was trying to find the courage to put her down easy, or just plain ignore what she said as he did with Hinata. "Okami, please don't let him ignore it. I couldn't live with the what-ifs if he did that." With these thoughts still in mind, in a low voice I asked, "Who's going to be first watch?" Naruto and Sasuke looked at Kakashi, who, without looking at them, eyes still glued to his book, "First watch will be Sasuke, then Naruto, then Ino, and I'll take last watch." Both boys nodded, and I quickly begging to prepare my sleeping bag near the fire to keep warm. Keeping my inner turmoil out, I thought I finally succumbed to exhaustion and fell asleep. When it was finally my turn to take watch, I got up my sleeping bag, and walked up a tree branch and sat down there to look at the stars. I really needed to clear my thoughts about Ino. The hours passed, and even though I didn't want it to, I find myself remembering all the things Ino had said to me lately. But there was one thing that kept constantly playing in my mind. "You're the one I love." Those 6 little words she whispered in my ear that I never thought I would hear in my life, especially not from her, really made me feel great. And it wasn't like the time when Hinata had said them. This time it was different. It felt different. That time when Hinata said them, I wasn't thinking, or didn't got he time to process what was happening or what it meant. Maybe it was because I only thought of her as a friend and nothing more. But Ino, How can begin to put into words what I felt when I heard her? When I looked at her afterwards, when I looked deeply into her eyes for just a few seconds. I felt like I wanted to hold her and never let her go. I wanted to melt in her arms. I wanted so badly to hear her say those words again. Did that meant I loved her too? I didn't even felt this way about Sakura. Maybe I didn't love her and it was just a crush, an infatuation. I finally jumped down the branch to go and wake Ino up. Hey sleepy head, wake up, I gently shook her. 5 more minutes, she mumbled. I chuckled and moved her bang out of her face. Wake up Ino,